We believe that Allah writing in a descriptive way. What you will do, because you will do it, Allah wrote it. Not because Allah wrote it, you will do it. So you're confusing both of these two. No, I'm confusing. Let's say I'm confusing. No problem. No problem. Let's have a sensible discussion. Right? We take our religion. But are you asking me questions, sister? Are you asking me questions?
No, I'm not asking you something.
Did you ask me about? Did you ask me about?
If I kick somebody, I'm accountable for it, right? Because I chose to kick somebody.
Okay.
Or did God write down that I was going to do that?
Did God know that?
If God writes something, yes, He knows, but He didn't will it. That's the difference.
Is it in His God mind?
Is
it in God's mind? Is it in God's mind? Is it in His God mind? Is it in God's mind?
That's the power of choice you have.
He knows everything. He's
Is it in His?
everywhere.
Okay.
So He knows what
Sure.
I'm going to do, what I've done already. My point that I'm making to you is you're saying that He was held accountable, but it was also pre-written for Him. If something's pre-written for somebody, that basically means they're destined to do it.
Did I give you an example? Did I give you an example, sister? Or did I didn't give you an example?
You did.
So
You
you
said
are,
it right.
you are making.
No.
Allah
I said if I have two students, I know who's going to be the first. I know who's going to be the last. This is the knowledge part that you agree with so far. I also wrote what I know. It doesn't mean I need that student to fail or pass. You are trying to say that you did. No, I'm a teacher. I know what he's going to do already. I just wrote this person is going to be the
You
first.
have given
This
our
person is
willpower
going
to them.
You, sister, look.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I think you're standing on the point even though you understand the point. Let's move to something that matters.
No, we're talking about free will.
Free will.
We didn't never began talking about free will. You said you want to ask me. You said you want to ask me. You said you want to ask me about Islam, right? You said you want to ask me about Islam,
But
right?
you're not answering.
Well, I'm not. I gave two, three, four answers, but you're not listening to me.
No, but you're going around in circles
Okay.
and literally giving
Sure.
two
Okay.
very contradictory
Okay.
answers in
Sure.
one. You did it with Jesus, now you've
Okay.
done it
Yeah.
again with the free will part.
Okay. You're entitled to your opinion completely.
That's what we're doing.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Okay.
Okay. If that teacher wrote these two names, did he force the child to be the first and the last?
Okay, if I hit him in the
No.
head...
Can you answer my question
was
now?
that written for
Can
you
you?
or not? No, but you're doing
Look,
to me...
you are using your example. I'm giving you an example where it explains, but you don't want to accept it. It's not that you don't understand it. You don't want to accept it.
It's got nothing to do with accepting it.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not about what we're talking
Can you answer my question then? Did the teacher force the child to be the first or the last? Did he force it? But it was written before he does it.
Free will.
So writing something does not mean I'm forcing someone to do something.
be forced
Now,
or lost,
moving on from that point, I already answered.
That isn't God. This is what I'm saying. You're saying that I'm using...
I didn't say the teacher's God. I didn't say the teacher's
But
God.
you're using that as an example when
No.
I'm literally
Why?
talking about...
Why am I
God.
using that as an example?
I have no idea why you're using
I'm
that
using
example,
that-
because we're talking about Adam, Moses, paradise, free will, God.
Because-
written.
because-
You're talking about teachers and students.
Because it's the similar example where you have. I let you finish, but you don't let me finish now, right? It's a similar example from the knowledge and written part. I'm just giving you an analogy. I never said the teacher is God. The student is the prophet.
We don't need
Look,
analogies when we're talking about something.
if I'm trying to explain something, if I'm trying to explain something to a child and he doesn't understand, I have to give him an analogy.
I'm not a child.
I don't know personally. I've been explaining
I'm nearly
it
30
3 or 4
years old,
times
And
now.
I've heard you each
Sure.
time, but I'm saying now, how
Sure.
does that apply to what we're talking about?
The teacher didn't force. The teacher wrote what the child is going to do. He didn't force him. God wrote what the prophet was going to do. He didn't force him. Similarly, it's a very simple way to understand. But now, talking about knowledge, how can you believe someone is God and he doesn't know the last hour? How can you believe Jesus is God?
So Muslim.
Now you don't want to deal with this point.
Free will.
You don't want to deal with this point.
I know you're playing up and everything, but you keep jumping each time.
Sure.
I'm talking about
How do you believe? How do you believe he's God?
free will.
How
Free
is Jesus
will,
all-knowing?
Adam, Moses,
Is
paradise.
Jesus
That's
all?
what we're
Is
talking
Jesus
about.
all-knowing or not?
No, we're not talking about
He's
Jesus.
not all-knowing. He's not all-knowing.
I didn't say that.
You said no.
You keep changing the subject.
He didn't know the
I
hour.
was talking about Adam and Moses in paradise.
Yeah,
right?
and I answered that
And that's
question,
it.
but you're sticking to the point.
Sorry?
So let's move on to a point where we both.
I'm still
Where
asking you to talk about the whole
I give you the answers, entitled to you to accept it or
you didn't
reject
give
it,
me an answer.
and
You
also.
spoke about teachers and students when
Sure.
I was talking about God.
Sure. There are viewers here who all have intellect and who all have mind, right?
Yeah.
I give you the answer, you're not satisfied with
You
it.
haven't
Someone
given me an answer.
someone who is a rational person will accept the answer.
You've given me
So
no answer.
that's entitled. You're entitled to your opinion. You can accept or reject my answer. That's up
There
to
was
you.
no answer to accept or reject.
Relax,
Give me
relax,
one.
relax,
Allah is not
relax,
giving
I'm
relax.
fine.
free
I
will,
can-
then he is a
Hopefully you're
dictator.
fine.
Right, that doesn't work.
Allah is
Okay,
dictator
sure.
according to
Okay.
you.
Hopefully you're fine.
You didn't give me an answer.
Okay, I believe I gave you an answer. It's my opinion.
So your Allah
Right?
is
And
dictator.
I'm entitled to my opinion as well. Let's move on. Now let's move on to something else.
Yes, Allah is a
Just like
dictator
with
here.
Adam.
Yeah, I'm waiting
He's
for her to
saying,
finish.
if
Okay.
I'm a teacher and I have two students,
Do you believe?
this is
Do you
some
believe?
kind of analogy.
Do you believe? Do you believe that Jesus is all-knowing?
Having free will.
God, Jesus is God, right? Jesus is God.
A teacher.
Jesus is God. You believe?
Yes, not
So I'm
a
asking you
teacher.
about God. Does God have all knowledge?
So
Did Jesus have all knowledge?
Dictator.
Do you agree with me that Jesus was not all knowing? When he was asking the hour in Mark 13:32, he said, "No one knows the hour, but the angels in heaven, not the Son, only the Father." So Jesus says, neither the Holy Spirit nor him know the hour, because only the Father knows the hour. How can you believe both of them are gods if they don't know the hour?
What does this have to do with free will?
You believe Jesus is God, you're talking about God and free will and knowledge. I'm talking to you about knowledge as well.
No, it's not free will
Did-
and knowledge, just free will.
Do you have to know something in order for you to write it down?
Sorry?
Do you have to know something in order for you to write it down? Okay, so we're talking about knowledge. So when it comes to Jesus now, that you believe is God, how do you believe he is God, even though he doesn't know the hour?
She doesn't believe him. Why
You don't believe he's God?
don't assume she believes he's
Okay, you don't believe Jesus is God.
So John chapter
You believe
1
Jesus is God?
verse, 1
He says
says,
you do.
in the beginning
Do you
was
believe
Word,
Jesus-
the Word was with God and the Word was God.
Do you believe Jesus
Verse
is God?
14 says, the Word became flesh.
Do you believe
and lived
Jesus is
among
God?
us.
Look, sister,
That
let
is
me be
real.
honest with you, right? We are adults, right? We have to have
You just
answers.
said that you don't know if I'm a child.
We have to have answers.
You just called me a
Child not by
and
age.
now I'm an adult.
Child
So
is
by
not.
what then?
Child is by understanding.
So I'm a child by understanding.
I never said that.
But you've just.
I say that make no mistake about it. That is my point of view.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Nice
sorry.
try, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, we are all adults here.
I know I look
We should
stupid,
not.
but I'm not stupid.
No, you're not stupid at all. I never said you're stupid.
You've insinuated.
Would I talk to a stupid
I
person?
don't know. You just said not too long ago that you don't know if I'm a
No,
child.
I'm sorry if you got offended by that. It was not the. It was not the intention.
Yeah.
It was not the intention. But I believe I gave an answer. You don't agree with me. I believe I give a parable and I give an example.
My point is, you didn't ask. Stop telling him to keep coaching him. He can speak about what he wants.
He's not coaching me.
He is. He keeps saying ignore him. Move on.
Sure,
I can hear it.
Mansur here is my senior. He can teach me. He can school me. He can do everything.
When
He is
I
always
is-
like that.
Same thing.
I-
He is always like that.
I never. Did I interrupt you? I let him speak until he went himself. Did I tell him to go? They've been speaking all this time. I never talked to them, right? So let's be honest with ourselves, right? If I believe in something, I must have the capacity to answer the questions myself.
Yeah.
Now, you believe in Christianity. So do you have an answer why Jesus did not
You
have...
have an answer for my question about free will.
I give you one, you're not satisfied. You give me one, if I'm not satisfied with it, we can move on as well. And people can judge. Okay. Jesus, who you believe is God, how did he not know the time of the last hour?
He knew. He knew in same chapter.
How did he say, how did he
He
say
said-
in Mark 13:32, he doesn't know where the hour
Same
is?
chapter he said,
Only, no, he says only the Father knows. If I say only Mansoor knows, no one here knows. Right? If he said only the Father knows which one of the persons of the Trinity, how can you believe that two other persons are God as well? How do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile Jesus Christ being a dependent being when God is an independent being? How do you reconcile Jesus being a mortal being where God says he's the only immortal being? How do you reconcile that?
Jesus, God humbled himself,
Yes.
right?
And became a man.
Yes, exactly.
Philippians chapter 2 verse
Which comes back to my
6.
original point about him giving us an example.
So when you say God became a man, and the Old Testament says number 23, Numbers 23 verse 19 said that God is not a man or the Son of Man.
Yes.
Which one should I believe,
A man
you or
who-
God?
who sinned.
God says he's not a man. Jesus,
The word became flesh.
God said he's not became a man. If you read Acts,
Flesh.
I'll give you evidence now. Acts chapter 2 verse 22. You can open the Bible. I'm giving you references. Acts
No,
chapter
show
2.
me.
Acts chapter 2 verse 22 says, Jesus of Nazareth, a man appointed by God.
That's right.
Paul says there is only one mediator between God and man, the man, Jesus Christ. So now if Jesus was a man, and the Old Testament clearly says God is not a man or the Son of Man, Jesus says he's the Son of Man 88 times. How do you reconcile that? 88 times he says he's the Son of Man.
He can do that.
He says he's a man as well. And God said he's not a man or a son of man. God is all-knowing. God is immortal. God is eternal, independent.
That's what I'm trying to explain. I'm not listening.
God said he does not. God said he does not change his nature. I think Corinthians chapter 14 verse 35 or
God
something.
is perfect, and when he came in form,
Was he still perfect?
He was still perfect.
So
He doesn't change.
you're perfect in your attributes. Perfection means that I'm perfect in knowledge. I know everything. I'm perfect in power. I have ability to do everything. Was Jesus perfect in knowledge, power, independent, immortal? No. So that means he was not perfect. He was limited. God is unlimited. Jesus was limited. He was killed by his own creation. If that was his own creation.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
came for that
That's what he
purpose.
came. That was the whole reason.
He came to suicide?
Yeah.
It's not about
No,
suicide.
did he suicide?
If it was
did he
my will
suicide?
to be
Shame
killed,
on you.
if
Shame
I
on
was
you
my
saying
will
this.
to be killed, that means I'm committing suicide. But you're not addressing my point. You didn't give me a single answer.
He didn't do
You
suicide.
look, you asked
He didn't
me for
suicide. He didn't suicide.
100
Nice,
times,
is it not
100
being given an
times,
answer?
no,
You've done the same thing to me.
100 times you asked me for an answer for something. I provided examples. I provided examples.
I asked you for an answer.
It is an exaggeration. You're correct.
I asked you for an answer to my question. You gave me an analogy for something else.
Sure. Thank you.
It's not the same thing.
All right. You are entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
You can also give me an analogy to something else. How can you reconcile Jesus not having power, not having knowledge?
He didn't have power. Are you sure?
Was he all powerful?
Oh, yes. Yes.
When I say he did not have power, I mean God's power. You're claiming he's God. God's power is being.
Can any old man raise somebody from the dead like Jesus did with Lazarus?
Yeah, other prophets did in the Bible. Jesus is not the only person who raised people from the dead. Do you know that?
And did he raise himself?
He was raised by the Father, not by his own power. So look, even the example you're bringing is going against you, right? If you being raised by someone else, if you are being raised by someone else makes you God, then the people who Jesus raised are gods as well, because they've been raised by someone
So in
else.
Islam, is Jesus dead? Isa, is he dead? Or is he alive?
You see, you don't want to address the question, and you want to go to the Islamic
I'm doing what
perspective.
you're doing, my
You
friend.
you want to
I'm
go.
reciprocating what you're doing.
Okay, at
If you
least
want to have a
like,
genuine
people
discussion, then fine. But I'm reciprocating the same tactics that
people
you're
are
using.
smart enough. People are smart enough to know who's answering and who's not answering. I'm asking you about simple questions about your own God. How can you believe in a God that you don't even know how he's God? You say God is the all-knowing, all-powerful, all just this, that. Timothy 6:16 says, the God alone is immortal. Alone is immortal. So if Jesus died, by definition, he's not immortal. You cannot resurrect without dying. Then he was a mortal man. He was a man like you and me. He fell on his face and he prayed. One verse in the Bible shows that Jesus was a Muslim. Just one verse. Matthew chapter 26, verse 39. Look at what Jesus Christ was doing. Do you know what he did? The first thing he did, he went to pray, he fell on his face. Do you know who prays? Do you know who prays like this? Muslims pray like this.
We are
So,
going to be immortal. That's what Jesus
Matthew
showed
chapter-
through his life. That,
Matthew
this
chapter
is the
26,
process
verse
of,
39. Read it. Do you know what it says?
a mortal
Jesus,
will be
before
immortal.
the alleged crucifixion that you're talking about, he was going and he fell on his face. He prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane the whole night. Do you know how he prayed? He fell on his face like Muslims
No.
do. Do you know what he said? He said, Father, the Bible says in Matthew chapter
He said,
26,
"Father,
verse 39. He
who
fell on
art
his
in
face.
heaven,
Do you know what he
call
said?
it by the name.
Do you know what he said when
He
he
never
prayed?
said
In
Allah.
Matthew 26,
He never said
39.
Allah.
He
He
fell on
never
his
said
face
Allah.
and he said, Father, take this cup away from me.
He never
If he
said
was
Allah.
all powerful, he was God, does he need to ask anyone else to take the cup away from him? Then when he prays, he says, let it be your will, but not my will. This is our Islamic belief. We submit our will and surrender our will to Allah.
Yeah, missing
So
the
Jesus was a human being, a Muslim like you and me. Don't worship a man.
Muslim?
I don't worship.
Don't worship a man.
But-
Worship God.
but Jesus-
Worship the creator of men.
Did Jesus died for
Don't
72
worship
virgins?
someone who couldn't save himself, let alone
Did
save
Jesus
you.
died for 72 virgins?
Don't worship
Did
a man
Jesus
who
died
couldn't
for
save
72
himself.
virgins?
He
Muslims
couldn't
are
save
dying
himself,
for
how can he
72
save you?
virgins. Shame on them.
Don't
How many
worship,
men do you know that
don't,
came back from the dead?
don't worship God, a God who's unjust. Did Jesus deserve to die? No. So God will not kill someone who doesn't deserve to die. Worship a just God.
Okay,
Worship
so-
a loving God.
Okay, so the last 3 minutes or so, you haven't asked me anything, so can I ask you something?
No, I have asked you, but you haven't answered me.
Okay.
If you answer my
Ask me
question,
one more time and I'll
okay.
I just want to say something.
Let's have,
I just want to say something. Listen.
no, Akhi, just one
Hold
second,
up,
sorry.
man. Let me talk. Listen.
Okay,
I
talk.
want to tell you that one thing. One day you're not going to die.
No, let him talk.
You're going to regret it when you go to your grave.
Thank you very much. My question.
That's why you
My-
need Jesus.
My question
That's
to
why
you,
you need
sister.
Jesus.
My question to
That's
you
why
is
you
about
need
the
Jesus,
knowledge.
the
It's a simple
Savior.
question.
Hey, let me talk
You
about
need
this.
Jesus did
the
not have
Savior.
all knowledge.
You need
How can
the-
he be God? Please tell
Jesus
me.
the Savior.
One day, you're going to regret your life.
You need Jesus as a Savior. You need Jesus as a Savior.
So God became ignorant.
He's going to regret his life.
He gave us an example to follow. Being humble means not showing off, right?
Okay,
so
sure.
he humbled himself, like I said, to give us an example of what to
Philippians
follow.
Knowledge has no relationship with humbleness. Humbleness is like Luke chapter 18, verse 18, where Jesus says, "Don't call me good, only God is good."
Because if he goes around saying, okay,
We-
on this date of this year, this is going to happen.
No,
on
no.
this day of this
Sister,
year, this is going
okay,
to happen.
okay.
Finish. You asked me.
Okay,
you
go
answered
ahead,
it.
go ahead.
That
I'll let you answer.
That's not humble.
Okay, I agree with you completely.
No, but you don't.
How do you know I don't agree with you?
You've just said you disagree. I haven't even started speaking. You're saying
Okay,
you agree.
I agree with the humbleness part. Go ahead.
Right. So in terms of knowledge,
Sure.
he wasn't here to tell
can't lie to
everybody
tell
what was going to happen
Okay,
on every given
okay,
day.
okay.
Stop saying okay, because I'm not finished.
Okay.
Now my question is to you.
No, you haven't answered my question. And you answered my
No,
question.
Before, when
No,
you
no, no.
asked-
I wanna
when you
ask.
answered my question. I said I wasn't happy with it. You said I'm sorry.
No, no,
So
no,
now
no.
I'm sorry you're
You
not
don't
happy
remember
with
my
my
question.
answer.
You don't remember my question. My question was simple.
How
Look.
can he be God if he's not?
No,
all-knowing?
no, no. My question is this.
Well, you just asked
Okay,
me.
okay. My question is
Read
this.
for him verse 6.
My question is this. Look, Mark 13:32 says, "No one knows the day and the hour. Not the angels in heaven, not the Son." You have two options. Jesus is lying and being humble. Jesus is saying the truth. Which option do you?
It's not for us to know.
So he doesn't know.
It's not for us to know.
Does he know or he doesn't know?
Can you stop interrupting? What's the point in this conversation? It's going to keep interrupting.
Okay,
me?
go ahead.
Right. So he came. When he came, it wasn't to tell us everything that's going to happen. That's the point. We have to learn for ourselves. It wasn't our point. It wasn't his purpose to come and tell us the hour. That had nothing to do. He came to give us an example of how to live. The hour at the time was irrelevant.
Why did he mention it
So
then?
his point is, no man knows. It's not up to us to know. That's his point. Nobody
So he
knows
doesn't know.
save the Father.
So he doesn't know.
I didn't say that.
So he knows.
God knows.
Does Jesus know? That's my question. Look, you don't want to answer my question. Whether Jesus knows or he doesn't know, he's not God in
Have a great
two
evening.
instances.
Have a great evening.
You too as well. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. I think this is enough, isn't it?
Have this
Or you still want
mind
to
in you,
This is a weird relationship you two
which
have.
was also in Christ Jesus.
She's willing to talk to you, then carry
Are you still willing to talk?
In the form of
You're
God.
not answering anything. Every time I try and answer something, you're cutting me off. You're smirking because there's all cameras here. I get that. I don't care. I'm not here for camera. I've never been on camera
Sure.
before here.
Okay.
I speak to people. I don't speak at them. I don't speak over them.
Okay.
I answer the questions.
Okay.
Not with analogies, but with biblical or Quranic reference. You keep using analogies
Sure.
and steering away from the conversation. I asked you about free will. You didn't answer that. I asked you about Jesus in Islam. You didn't answer that.
Okay.
You're not answering anything that I have. Any
Sure.
questions that I have,
Sure.
but you're expecting answers to your liking with the questions.
I would say
There's nothing I can do
I would
about
say I would say people can judge who is given references, numbers.
Yeah.
I would say people will judge who is not answering questions, who is not answering questions. I would say people will judge who let other people heckle and still talk to you. But I will say also you are entitled to your opinion, right? But go ahead. You said you want to ask another question. Go ahead.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay, you don't have any more questions. Okay. My pleasure talking to you. I hope I didn't offend you in any way. It was not the intention. The intention was to us
I was hoping
to have
to learn
to have
something, but I didn't
to have
learn anything.
to have. That's okay. I'm not a knowledgeable person for you to learn
We
something.
would
read
like
this passage.
to invite you to Islam. Think about why you're not a Muslim.
So let me read this passage for you.
Once you become a Muslim, you'll be saved from the hellfire.
Who existing in the form of God,
This is what we're saying. God
Jesus.
has mentioned in the Quran.
Where?
Throughout the Quran,
Can you show me once then?
if you believe and do righteous deeds, yes, He will enter you into gardens of paradise, eternal bliss, and He will also save you from the hellfire.
That's what
Which is
it says?
prepared for this. There's
According to
various
Islam,
verses in the Quran.
she is a half brain. According to Islam, you are a half brain,
This is
you are
our
lady.
this is our humble request and invitation to you
According
to
to
Islam.
Islam, you
It's your
are
choice.
half brain.
I mean, you had
You have You cannot enter
some
into
discussion
paradise
about
according to Islam.
how
How
and
can
why.
how can I come to something when I've been given no answers, only analogies?
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite clear. I mean, I haven't said anything, right?
Yeah.
For a reason. I want you to have a conversation between yourselves.
Yeah.
And I haven't interjected to all the hecklers that came one by one. I mean, they came and they left. He stayed. He's quite persistent, obviously. What I was
And
trying.
they do that because
Look,
because
I have no problem.
There's been no questions
Look,
answered.
if I had a problem, I would
You
have
don't
said
shout
something.
Me. I'm standing right here. I'm simply saying they were taking up. I don't have a loud voice. I'm not a man. They were trying to not to let him deflect because that's exactly what he keeps doing.
Is that what you think?
Deflecting
So
all the time.
if this is what you
I
think,
asked him a very simple question.
He's repeating
and none
his
of them were
things.
answered.
I've heard the answers myself. Shall I repeat them to you?
I know the answers.
No. You said you did not hear him answering. I can repeat the answers to you if you want. But
He didn't
besides the
answer
point.
my questions. He spoke, but he didn't answer.
Oh,
my
he spoke the
questions.
answers.
No. He spoke. That's it. He didn't
He
answer any
spoke,
questions.
did not answer
Just
the question.
Words came out.
But I heard the answers. If you want me to, I can give you the
I'm
answers
sure
what
you
I
did.
remember.
Okay, great.
Right. So what I was saying is, because we want to end this conversation, which I think, personally, I think it was a great conversation. Okay? Even though all these interruptions that we had, you both managed to focus
Just
on the
because they
conversation.
were vocal, you kept
Look.
interrupting as well, whispering in his ear. I saw it.
I
at
was
least 8
only
times. I
telling
counted
him.
on my hands.
Do you know what I told him?
1, 2, 3.
Do you know what I told him?
Move on. Next
Yes.
topic.
I told him.
When I'm asking you
Occasionally,
something, you're saying don't
He was
answer.
he
Move
was
on.
jumping the
I can hear
one
you.
Sorry.
one topic
I've
another.
never told him don't answer. Look, microphone is very new to
Move
me.
on.
You
Move
was-
on means
you
don't
was-
answer.
No, move on means all the
You
interruptions
was,
that is
feeding
coming
him.
to you.
You was feeding him.
Ignore them.
You was
because
feeding
as soon as
him.
you
Continue
said
the
move on,
conversation.
Mansoor,
as
Look,
soon as you said move
Mansoor,
on, he moved
don't
on to a
use
different
takiya.
topic.
Don't
If
use
this is how you
takiya.
feel, my humble request is to review the
you-
video
you
recorded by
was
many
feeding
people by yourself. Just review individually what you perceive of the discussion that went and whether I was telling him
I'm
not
in
to
the
answer the
discussion
questions.
and I was listening. When you said move on, he changed the topic to is Jesus
That's right.
God?
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking about
Look,
free will.
yeah.
I asked about Jesus in Islam.
So
He didn't want to
free
answer.
will, he
Firstly,
didn't
I just
answer.
want to know.
I'm simply saying you can review the video yourself. You can review it, listen to it, and analyze and say, look, okay, yes, he was wrong, I was wrong, whatever. You can do all of that. We were just trying to. I'm only making a point here. Is this?
Yeah.
This was a great conversation,
How? For who?
regardless of all the interruptions we had. That's my point. There are many
What was
interruptions.
great about the discussion?
The discussion
His
was.
question-
When somebody is not answering, how this is
The discussion was. You both continued focusing,
No,
regardless
I
of.
focused. He didn't focus.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
he's made some points. You've made some points. Correct? I hope that both
What
of
you
you.
shouldn't do is whisper in a grown man's ear.
What did
when
I
we're
whisper about?
speaking. You're telling him, you're coaching him. I heard
No,
it.
what did I
saw
whisper
it.
about?
I heard
the
it.
camera.
What did I say?
It's in the
Exactly.
camera.
Whenever a topic was getting a bit too, you said move on at least 3
Right.
times.
I disagree with you, and if you think that this is, I'm
think-
totally wrong. No. If you think, in your estimation, what your opinion that you're giving,
Yeah.
I'm disagreeing with you. You can review the video and watch which point I said what. When the
I was
heckling,
watching video and I was
please
watching
listen.
you.
When in the heat of the discussion
Yeah.
and all the interruptions in your ears, all the loud voices in your ears, it is possible that you haven't fully focused on what you were saying. It's possible. Yeah? So what I'm simply saying is when you review the video, you can see what happened. Only thing I want to say is, look, at the end of the day, I hope both of you learn from each other, at least. He's not here to only teach you, I'm sure he's here to learn too. And I hope it was likewise from you that you learn from these exchanges and then you reflect on it. At the end of the day, reflect on what she has said and you reflect on what he has said. And at the end of the day, that if you can actually come better informed of each other's religion, then this is a great conversation. That's my point.
So why are you even speaking when me and him were speaking?
No, we were finishing. We were only
I don't
concluding.
need an
Thank you.
intercessor
Me
to
answering.
come in
Can I
and
answer
speak
that
for
question?
me.
Can I answer that
Even
question?
what I said, you don't like what I said.
No, I don't, because you had no reason to speak.
Can I answer that question?
you can-
In
you can
Islam,
end-
the Prophet
end by
ﷺ
reading
told
this-
us,
this passage.
it's not from us who doesn't respect, revere our elder, and he doesn't respect our younger. Revere our elder and respect our younger. I cannot speak when my elder is speaking. That's why I'm remaining silent, right? This is our Muslim tradition. We don't speak over each other, right? We're here when he speaks, I will let him speak. When I'm speaking, I will let you speak, right? This is our Muslim belief, right? It was a pleasure having a discussion with you. Even though we disagreed, we can disagree, we can have a good discussion. Even though we disagree, that's completely all right. And I'm happy that you're a humble person. You're not like other people, not coming here to scream. And I hope I didn't come offensively, I didn't scream, I didn't do anything bad as well. It was my pleasure talking to both of you. Thank you very much.
You too. God bless.
See you.
What did you challenge him to the body?
Sorry, bro. I have to